Good morning to everyone and welcome back to Policing With You. I am your host, Charmaine O'Dane. With me, I have Inspector Bergen. He's no stranger to us, to the listening and viewing audience here. He's going to introduce himself in the capacity that he's here this morning and tell us why he's here.
All right, thank you, Sergeant O'Dane, host of this wonderful radio program, and to the man behind the scenes at ZIZ here, GQ. Good morning to all. Good morning to all in Radio Land, those of us listening via whatever social medium means. I greet you wonderfully in the name of Jesus Christ. I'm here this morning to bring the good news to St. Kitts and Nevis of the hosting of the Security Forces second annual summer soccer camp, football camp. It is being held at Flow Grounds, Needmos Estate, and it's a 2 weeks football camp with also life skills activities being a part of it. So it's not just football alone, and we are catering for boys and girls ages 5 to 17. Initially we had said 7 to 17, but we have seen we had a wonderful session yesterday with the NIT team talking about risk and everything like that, and that was a wonderful 45-minute session, a half an hour session, sorry. So the camp starts at 9. Between 9 and 9:10 we have our devotion. Between 9:15 and 9:45 we do the life skills activities. We're going to be having persons apart from the National Intervention Team coming in. We have this morning we are seeing Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's office, Ms. Naima Hazal. She'll be engaging the bigger children, the 11 to 17 year olds, as to respect as well, time management, and she'll make sure that they understand the concept of those topics. We are looking at persons like Mr. Peter Jenkins. He'll be coming in as well to impart etiquette and things like that to the children. Leadership. We have in Michael Martin as well. Mr. Michael Martin. He'll be coming in to do some sessions as well. And other persons from the police traffic department to deal with traffic, the fire department to deal with fire safety, and then we go into our football field activities. So that is how we are doing it this year, in terms of not just football alone, but life skills activities to engage the children, so that when they leave the camp after 2 weeks, they should be better children, better citizens. That is the intention of this camp.
Thank you so much, Inspector Bergen. You actually went ahead of me for my second question as to what impact you hope to gain from this camp with the participants. So I want to go on my big question. Can you share any successful stories or positive outcome that you have had from the previous camp? Because you said this is your second anniversary.
Yes.
So just give us a short story, a success story that you would have.
Okay, before I go any further, I want to mention to our listening audience and viewing audience, we are expecting some international coaches who are attending the camp here, who are facilitating the camp, in the persons of Mr. Richie Alicock. He's the CEO of True Life Sports in England. He is the man responsible for all the international coaches that we have in St. Kitts. I'm going to get to your question.
No problem.
But Richie Alicock, we have been in talk with him from the time the camp finished last year. He was supposed to come last year, but it was a short notice and he couldn't make it. But he really went above and beyond, and we have 19 international coaches here facilitating this camp here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I did say it earlier a couple of weeks ago. I did mention it to the Federation that we're going to be having a number of international coaches coming from overseas. Some of these coaches are coming from big premier clubs in England like Arsenal Football Club, Tottenham Football Club, West Ham, Manchester City, and we have some coaches out of North America, one from Florida, one from North Carolina, and one from Canada. So this camp has an international flavor to it. And so that is one of the reasons why we also invited the sports department to collaborate with us so that their children can benefit from our crime prevention summer football camp. And so we are happy that that is working out smoothly. So far, so good. We are in there for. Now, the question you asked, this summer camp is not just a summer camp for babysitting nobody children. This summer camp has a vision to it, has a mission to it. When we started out last year, we decided that we want to create a pathway for our young people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. These coaches, they have traveled long and far to get here. A lot of challenges getting them here, but by God's grace it worked out. So we are creating a pathway for our children to get that international touch, that professionalism, the leadership from these coaches, so that when they leave the camp, as I said, they are better in a lot of ways. The ultimate vision is to create a pathway for them to get to the next level when they grow up, either to go off to university in the US through a sports scholarship, or they get professional tryouts in Europe, in North America, and further afield, Asia. Right? So we are creating this pathway now and building on it so that our children of tomorrow, they can benefit. And we're hoping that this program can run for a number of years. Some of these children started last year at 5, they are back this year, and we're seeing a big difference in them. Right? And so we're looking forward to good success stories this year. We're looking forward to some good success from our program this year, and we're happily joined by, as I said, our two English colleagues, international coaches. On my left here is, immediate left is Richard Alicock. He's the CEO of True Life Sports, the man responsible for all the coaches coming here to St. Kitts and Nevis, and joining him is Mr. Dan Dodge.
Dan Dodge.
Yes, welcome to ZIZ Radio. You're being seen and heard throughout the diaspora.
So I'll have you guys introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself and your career. Just a short background about your coaching career and what you intend to gain here. So go ahead.
Firstly, good morning. My name is Richard Alicock. I'm from London, as Inspector said, the CEO of Through Life, which is focused around intervention using sport as a vehicle to divert young people in the positive direction. A bit about myself. I was one of those young people growing up in a community where, you know, we get a bit lost and we go on a different journey, and the journey takes us into areas that sometimes does not become a fruitful place and becomes a very daunting place with all the different criminal activities that can take place around you, and you get kind of brought into those situations. But I was thankful enough that I found my love and passion for sport, which was football, and football was my vehicle to break away from such areas of such crime and antisocial behaviour, which played a big part in my life, because at the end of the day I didn't have the role models at the time that I was growing up in that community, where it was more of the role models were very negative people, and those negative people influenced us into different ways, and we did things that we didn't want to do, but unfortunately we were surrounded by an environment that actually we couldn't break loose from because we were so young. And that's where grooming becomes a part of the whole situation. So they entice you with nice finer things that you can't afford, and you take those, and then before you know it, you're caught up in a society where you are part of the statistics. And I'm thankful enough that I was able to break away from that culture and be able to go on a journey of positive and productivity to enable positive change within the communities, and go on my now coaching journey and become an FA qualified coach, working at one of the biggest Premier League clubs in the UK, and being able to work with the biggest brand in football, which is the Premier League. So and the FA. So my focus was, I go into these football clubs, I set up prevention programs, help divert young people away from antisocial behaviour, but we use different pathways, different plans. So that could be sports, which is football, plays key fundamental learning. So you think about resilience, you think about learning, you think about motivation. You break up all these little segments, but these little segments become a big part of your whole life, and teaches the values of where you can go. And then you have the right people around you to create a pathway of opportunities where you go down the coaching route, you go down employment. Because think about this, when kids get involved in sports, can you imagine how much opportunities come from sport? We don't just think about, yes, everyone has the dreams, the aspiration that want to become a professional footballer, but the reality of life is that there's a small percentage that make it. But this is where I come into it. I was one of those, yes, I was that small percent. Unfortunately, I never made it. But you know what? There was other avenues during the journey through sports. So you can become into the media, like we're here now. You can become a media person. You become a news reporter. You can become a football coach. You become a physio. You can become a communications person, a marketing, anything, because it plays a valid part. And what that does for you, it connects you to the game of football still.
Okay, we're gonna have you just say.
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name's Dan Dodge. I'm a coach and coach educator. I've been coaching since 2006. My journey and my background is very different to what Rich has described. I haven't been in that environment, but my passion is developing people, and sport, as Rich has touched on, dissects everything. You can connect anyone in the world in a form of sport or activity. And the life skills and the behaviours that people then develop around kind of communication, social connection, all those things that transfer into whatever career path you want to go on to. And my passion is connecting them through sport. So over the last 20 years of a coaching career, I've worked in grassroots teams, national teams, academy teams. But yeah, the passion is working in the community and connecting those young people onto a positive pathway and helping them shape their own journey.
Thank you so much, guys, for that. We're going to take a short break. We're going to pay some bills. GQ, we hand it over to you now.
This is my land, my island, our home. The climate has changed, it's becoming strange. We have to come together to keep her forever resilient and strong. We need slow civilization for its rehabilitation. Come together as a nation for drought and flood mitigation. Development with policies and plans. Let's change our ways, protect our lands. Get involved, every child, woman and man. Island resilience has got the plan. This is my land, my island, our home. It's time to come together to keep her forever resilient and strong.
Island Resilience, promoting a climate of change. The Climate Change Adaptation and Sustainable Land Management Initiative of the OECS Commission, funded by the European Union.
Water is life, 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 life. Water is life, 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 life. Do just one thing,
Every jack come, make sure you check for leaks around your house every day. Every jack come, when brushing your teeth, don't let the water run away. Come save the water, preserve the water right now. Every jack come, save the water whenever you take in your shower. Every jack come, make saving the water your business every hour. The water, the water, the water, the water right now. It's up to me and you and you and you and you. The water right now.
do just one thing.
Good morning to everyone and welcome back to Policing With You. I am your host, Charmaine Odin. With me I have Inspector Bergen, Mr. Richard Elcock and Don Dodge. They are from the Security Forces Crime Prevention Summer Camp 2024. You would have heard from Inspector Bergen, you would have heard from Mr. Alcock, and you would have heard from Don. But I just want him to go over because now you can actually see who is speaking to you. So he'll go over and just give us a little rundown about his background.
Yeah, hi everyone. So as I said, my name is Dan Dodge. I'm a coach educator and mentor in the UK, and I've been fortunate to work across the world in most continents now. My passion is developing people, and sport is one of the best vehicles for us to do that because of the life skills and the behaviours that you can learn from doing it, and how you can then transfer that across into whatever career you want to pursue.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Community and law enforcement collaboration. How important is this collaboration between the coaches, police and the community in making this camp successful? Any one of you?
So, that's a great question that you ask, and that's one of the things that we fight for all the time, because it's about having a holistic approach in how we deliver the work that we do, because not one person or one organization can deliver such a program. So when you come together collaboratively, you'll be surprised on how much more you can reach and support these young people, but also help develop the communities that you're working in and helping to provide opportunities that would help educate these young people, but also educate us as people as well, because we're always learning on the job at the same time. Because if we have all these brilliant organizations in place but we work in silo, then actually we're not really benefiting the community because we're just doing our own thing. Right. But the moment you start bringing everyone together, you become more unified in what you're doing. So imagine young people connecting with the police. How strange is that to young people? But what you're doing, you're actually letting people know that in the uniform, that is my job. Out of uniform, I'm still a human being. Right. So we always try to bridge the gap between local authority, with the community groups and the leaders, to ensure that actually we all play an important role. And this is what this prevention program is doing. And you know, this has been something that's been in the motions for a while now for our organisation to be heavily a part of. So like thanking obviously Beresford and Dr. Newton for being part of this whole aspect of pulling us together to making this work alongside the work that inspectors been putting in. That's what's brought us here today, and that's the fruits of life.
Great. With everything that we do, there's challenges. So could you let us know what are some of the challenges that you face with bringing this camp together, and even the journey over the next 2 weeks in having it be
one of the challenges I always say for something on this magnitude, because one of the things I say is, you know, we want to go big. There's no point being a drop in the ocean and then all of a sudden you've done a nice thing to do. At the end of the day, if you want to make impact has to be done on a lengthy scale. And to do that, you have to have everyone's buy-in. Now, the challenge is sometimes is that, okay, we from the UK have to pull together the best resources that we can. You know, we brought over to St. Kitts and Nevis the best coaches that we can bring together, which are coming from big Premier League clubs. So we're talking about clubs of Newcastle, we're talking about Tottenham Hotspur, we're talking about Man City, we're talking about Arsenal, we're talking about West Ham. We just had the West Ham coach come in yesterday. Yeah. So can you see how amazing that is? Like, you know, we're still able to pull on. So that's a strength to us. But at the same time, we've got to make sure that we have the funding in place to ensure that everyone can play a crucial role. So thanking all the sponsors who already have been part of this whole network of making sure we are pulling together what we're doing in such a time where actually we didn't know what was going to happen because of the hurricane. And imagine that natural disasters can play a massive impact on just what we thought to ourselves was massively important to making sure that this camp was going ahead. Obviously, for me, you know, I've got to have to, you know, say a thank you to the PS, you know, the permanent secretary, Naima, for her involvement in moving this all forward and pulling together the government together, because it's important that, you know, when you've got people in office and people who are able to pull that together, that's where we see it. But from a challenge point of view, it's always going to be around resources, pulling together resources.
I think just to follow on, if I can, to ensure that it's not just a 2 week, because we can come and we can bring our experience and we can bring our support and we can act as role models and we can give the kids a fantastic experience for 2 weeks. What happens in next Saturday when we go home? What's the follow on? Yeah. Because it can't then suddenly dip.
That's the challenge.
That was would have been one of my questions to you guys, Inspector Bergen and you guys, collaboratively. What is the plan going forward? Because as you said, 2 weeks and you drop off there. Inspector Bergen, is there any plans going forward? I know that you and myself and other persons have been trying to push things and create things going forward. What is the plan? I want the community to hear. In order for them to partner with us also, let them hear the great things that you have planned going forward.
Well, as Richie would have said, one of the greatest challenges, support from a financial standpoint. And one might ask, you know, why so many coaches from overseas? They're not seeing the benefit that these coaches are bringing. You know, it's just they're seeing more people, but the benefits have far-reaching effect here in St. Kitts and Nevis. In terms of the way forward, I have been engaging the executive of the security forces. I have engaged the director of sports. To have continuity with this camp. We're not just going to leave these children. The Prime Minister always said to me, "Don't leave no child behind." Right? And so we are going to have some talks. We already started talks even before the camp is over, to have continuity with this group of children that we are playing a significant role in their life. So we're going to take a break for at least 3 to 4 weeks, and then we're going to be bringing them back every Saturday, hopefully, with the support of the community, with the support of government. Bring them back every Saturday. And you would have seen yesterday that we would have distributed uniforms. So now they have a uniform. People like structure and organization. When you're structured and organized, people will gravitate to you. You know, and so that is the intention of going forward. Not just dropping them off next week Friday and say see you next year. We're going to be engaging them because we want to continue that that trajectory of creating that pathway for their lives.
And that's where the importance comes with continuation, because continuation plays a key factor in shaping the journey of these young people. So it's important that Inspector does mention that and let the community know, because if imagine we go away next week, then we don't come back, it's just going to be another, oh, they just come to the same.
Right.
That's not how, remember, so for me, and you know, some of the coaches, our ancestors are from the West Indies. So it's important for us to be able to come and connect back with our community and where we're from, and be and bring our education and them tools to come and give the people. So like Dan, coach education, Dan needs to be coming out here to be educating the coaches and putting a curriculum together with one of our colleagues, Rosie, from the women's game, to help build the football community and become much more larger, much more better, much more competitive as well.
Right.
Yeah, so because that's what we look at, and I think, you know, what the sports minister said in the ceremony there on Monday, he wants to see St. Kitts in the Gold Cup, St. Kitts representing in the World Cup. Do you think that's not impossible? But if you pull your resources together and bring education to the forefront, you'll be surprised on the amount of change you'll make in your community, and who's that going to benefit? The island of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah,
that's the most important factor.
Yeah, and there's two things. So just to Inspector, just touch on your point around the uniforms and the groupings, that creates connection, and that's what, as human beings, that's what we seek. We seek connection to a group or to something, and that's, you know, what Richie said about people getting drawn into kind of negative paths. That's seeking attachment and seeking connection. So our jobs, if all of us, is to create that positive connection and positive pathway. And it can be as simple as kind of creating a unified group through a uniform, that they know that every Saturday they go into their group and they go into their friends, and that's where you develop those. You know, those
so just to end off on this point here, the organisation is called Through Life Through Sports. So when we say Through Life, we're with you for life. So I am now putting the ownership on the island of St. Kitts and Nevis to say Through Life is here with you. But how do you keep us with you? Because we want to be here, we want to help you lot, and we want to dedicate our time to make sure that we can provide the best possible approach.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for that, because for me, you know, NIT, youth, development, our future, and I'm getting old.
No.
I need to be able to walk the streets of St. Kitts in a safe, not one day I have to look over my back. And the children need all the networking, all the support, all the collaboration that they can get. You're not going to see the benefit of money, and this is not about making money for us. This is about giving our time, experience, networking, and if St. Kitts, the community in St. Kitts, could see that, this is more than what money can buy.
Yeah, more than that.
Absolutely.
Having these youths develop, it's not all of them going to be sports, but the development. I think it was yesterday I saw you with one of the coaches for the football team after the camp went over trying to develop his skills. I'm not too sure if it was you, Dan, or it was somebody else, but I was like, wow.
This is what we do.
Of course.
And this is the thing. Like we talk about resources, and if you think of the 14 coaches we brought over, we've got a full spectrum of experts, from going into housing estates in a community setting, working with real vulnerable, hard to reach kids, and we've got elite coach developers who run teams in the national system and Premier League and academy system. That's a big skill set.
Wow.
And you know, the thing for us is it's not about trying to keep ownership and keep kind of us. You need us here to deliver this for you. It's about us coming here, sharing that knowledge, and helping the community of St. Kitts learn that skill set so that you become sustainable.
Yeah.
And you have your own coach educators, your own coach developers, your own community experts.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to other coaches or community leaders looking to start something similar to this?
Be brave. Be brave. Tap on resources. Tap on the people around you, and bring people in that have the skill sets.
But the key around that is that you got to want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see passion. Be humble. You see, respect, it goes a long way. And if you can start to build on those values and those what we've just said, then that will steer you in the right direction. And before you know it, you're going to be opening up doors yourselves for these young people. And that's what's the most important factor, is that if we can come in and provide a coach education program to help develop young coaches in this community of St. Kitts and Nevis, then what we are doing for the island is creating a workforce development. And then when you build a workforce development, young people behind that see a pathway and start to say, oh, hold on, I can start to see a future. We have a pathway that can lead you into Europe. We have a pathway that can lead you to the United States. What that means, you can take your pathway, go into these countries, build on your skills, take the knowledge, take the wisdom, take all of that, you come back to your island and you start building.
Right.
Yeah? It's not to say you go off and you say, I forget, because it's taken me a long time. But I had to go away to Premier League clubs to learn my trade, to learn everything, then go away, set up my organisation, which the team have been fundamental in helping. 3.5 years, I'm back in the West Indies. Yeah.
At this point, I want to invite the listener and viewing callers, for calls, if they feel like calling in to ask anyone your questions. Okay. Inspector Bergen, we're going to wrap up shortly. Is there anything that you need, the listening and viewing audience, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yes, first and foremost, I want to thank God for creating this opportunity for St. Kitts and Nevis and our youths to experience our international friends from England, Canada and the United States. I want to say thanks to the Prime Minister's office, the Prime Minister himself and his office, the Ministry of National Security, True Life Sports, the Police National Intervention Team, and our partners who have come on board to donate, contribute, sponsor this camp, such as Sandy Point Benevolent Society, the Ministry of Sports, Royal St. Kitts Hotel, where our coaches are staying, COSCAB as the official water sponsor of the camp, Kiddishan Hill, who hosted us to a wonderful dinner there on Sunday night, the bakeries, the supermarkets, the ice vendors, ZIZ, of course, who have been there with us from weeks ago, and the other radio stations as well, the rentals, the car rental businesses as well, the young people who have come on board to volunteer. I really want to thank them, and I'm looking forward to the more support from the general public. We had a sponsorship of 150 cases of water, and I was called this morning and said that we're out of water in just 4 days. 260 plus children every day for just 3 days thus far, and we have depleted our water. So I want to make a special plea to our business persons, our business community, to come on board, join us. We in need of water. As you know, we are in the summer now, and it's really hot, and the youths are using up the water. So if anyone out there listening to me want to come in and contribute some water, we're not at the stage of begging any money. We just need some water to ensure that the next few days of the camp will be successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Inspector Bergen. I want to thank you guys for coming. Is there anything that you wish to say shortly?
Thank you for having us, but let's make this be a long-term partnership.
Definitely.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I'll echo that. Thank you for having us. Thank you for your hospitality. But yeah, we're not done yet.
Yes.
Nice,
Okay.
nice.
We want to thank God for the time He has given us to share, the listening and viewing audience, the coaches, Inspector Bergen, GQ, ZIZ. Thank you again. I am your host, Charmaine Odin.
But Marcus, tell me what you think about Christ. Made their sacrifice.